record this. Okay. All right. Just a few questions. Our school is making us do like a little blog style thing. So just a few questions just to get to know more about you. So what exactly do you do at Centro?
Well, I do a lot, but currently I'm the board treasurer, so I do the finances and also do grant writing. So that's what I do currently right now, and then I also support with the Arts Advisory Committee, which does all the programming for the space, and we maintain the space open Friday through Sunday.
How did you land your current role?
I started as a volunteer. Well, I'm still currently a volunteer, but I started 6 years ago. I'm an activist myself. I'm also I'm still a student, and I work as a mental health nurse. And coming to Central was a way to connect with community, also a space to be able to open up to more folks that are doing different work regarding immigration work, health, tenants unions. So it's really like a hub to do political work, but at the same time to be able to connect and do cultural events for community. So we have a few programs that focuses on programming. And I started, and from there, I realized that the space it has so much more potential. So I wanted to know, when has it received its last grant? When it was received its last different exhibits from different artists, Chicanas and other sort of. And from there, I wanted to be able to provide access to and have more access to the space, to bring more access. So we're really excited for all the grant writing that's happening, and we got our first grant since I've been there 6 years ago to do a summer camp this summer with the San Diego Foundation. So we're really excited about that.
Did you have any mentors to help you get to where you are today?
I had a few. Well, I had a few mentors. I think one first be my mother, who always pushed me to keep with my studies and to continue to be grounded in community and to help our community, our raza. And one of the mentors I also had was Makeda, and she runs the space next door, the World Beat Center. So I started as a volunteer there when I was only 17 years old. And she runs, I also was a big fan at that time of reggae music and all these events festivals that she used to organize every summer, the Bob Marley Fest. And I started volunteering with her for probably 4 years. And I learned a lot so much. And I realized that this is the woman that's keeping the space running. And she's the executive director, and she's been growing that space so much. So she was really happy when I got into the Centro, and I said the Centro needs as much love and more support than the World Beat. And the difference is that Makeda has been there as a executive director for like 30, 40 years. And the Centro has had many cycles of different people coming in and out. So it's been difficult to sustain the same vision for the space for such a long time.
What is the best piece of advice any of those mentors have given you?
I think something that my teacher would always quote is always the quote by Al-Saldua that says, do the work that matters. I think that's always something that stay with me. I'm a big reader of Al-Saldua and other Chicana writers, but that's something that I live by. Like it's very, especially doing a lot of activism, is how do we also create and do work that we're able to see the effects long term and make these spaces sustainable. So really do the work that matters. So don't do the work that other people expect you to do, or because it's the right thing to do, or regarding whatever career choice anyone makes. So haz lo que vale la pena hacer.
What are some of the biggest highlights of your work at Centro?
The biggest highlights is the exhibitions that I help curate. So I'm also part of an artist myself, and I love curating and putting exhibits together. There's an exhibit that I have been curating for almost 18 years. I've been part of the committee, but it's called Enero Zapatista. So for 18 years, it's a whole month of cultural and social events at Centro, and under this umbrella of Enero Zapatista. And I'm one of the main curators for that show that's been put in that and we start organizing since July. So right now it's like a nice break, but in July we start organizing for that exhibit. So I'm very proud of that work and the work that has brought to different youth being exposed to activismo and art. And then another part that I'm very proud of the Centro is the history that it has. It started as a collective of artists and activists, and they were called Totecas en Aztlán. So it's very inspiring that the space has always been rooted and being able to demand to the city and other institutions that we need a space, and we're going to make a space whether you like it or not. And the Centro is rooted in that fight to acquire a space of arts and culture in the heart of a ballpark.
Now, what are some of the greatest challenges of your work?
The greatest challenges is that I don't have a nonprofit major. So it's now that it took us a while to get our finances, get our nonprofit status at Centro. We're hoping to be able to pay people in the fall or starting the spring next year. So I think the biggest challenges was just doing a lot of the paperwork, because many of our people didn't know how to ask for help. And it'd be great to be able to get an actual finance person to do a lot of the work that I'm doing. But I learned because I helped manage the tiendita inside the Centro. So I learned how to do QuickBooks. So I took classes, just the basic, just to keep things running. So I think the hardest challenge is getting other volunteers to be able to stay long-term at the Centro. And we get a lot of students, which is great. We need all the help, but how do we also acquire different community members that can contribute, or commit to at least 2 or 3 years to do this amount of work? So we have good members right now that have been there for 2 years, because then you understand the history of what was happening, and then you can commit to an actual project. Whether that be fixing something at the Centro that's not going to be something fixed over a weekend. So that's the biggest challenge, is acquiring longstanding people that want to support. Also with the goal, like we have a lot of artists that come in and support and volunteer. And we hope, I want to be able to pay them and hire them in the future. And so I hope the Centro becomes a space that can, for the able to pay its artists and people that come into those stores.
Think back to 5 years ago. Did you envision yourself in this exact position right now?
I did not. I did not. Yes, I thought I was just going to come to Centro and volunteer for 1 or 2 years, and be able to offer mi granito de arena and just continue to be a community member that just uses the space whenever needed. But to help run the space, I didn't expect to be able to change a lot of my life to be present in that space. I think part of it was that it has so much potential, and it just needs organization. And I understand that a lot of people do what they can. They did what they could with the time that they have. And also it's hard to be able to do this long work when you're not getting paid. So I think it's like, but in order for that to even happen, all these things have to be fixed, because no one has been keeping track of the books for a long time. So I think that's just the reality of the situation, that I felt very invested with the space. It's like, this can be fixed, this can be done. Why isn't anybody doing it? It should be happening. So very happy and blessed for the people that, the members of the volunteers, my collective that was very invested in, let's fix it. Let's lift the space up, and let's give a good chunk of our time to make it better than what it was. So that's right now we're finally seeing those fruits of that labor 5 years ago. And we're really excited for all the potential and all the access that we have within the city, within the arts community and organizations that want to give us money. So right now it's just basically writing all the paperwork, all the grant writing, to be able to have access to all that.
Okay. Describe the most important leadership lesson you've learned.
I think the biggest blessing is being able to accept any help that comes, no matter how long it comes. I think at the beginning, there was a lot of frustrations of this understanding of, like people to have the idea to commit the same amount of time and attention to the space. But I think I slowly grew from that realization to know, like, I need to be able to accept help in whatever way it comes. And if there are I don't want people to burn out. So being able to be mindful and gracious and grateful for any comes in, no matter how long. And I wish that so many things, but I think that's something that I learned. I learned very well, and I'm very happy of where I am right now to be able to just be grateful and be grateful for any help that comes in, and to not have any expectation, and to not have anybody just stay and do the same work, because it's a lot of work. So that's the biggest lesson, to keep those doors open and just be grateful, because those people keep returning back. After they finish their school, they come back. So I've seen within the last 5 years or 6 years, students have graduated, started as high school students, and now they're back doing work in museums and needing to do their internships, or being able to get their experience before they land their first job. So just really grateful and happy to be able to witness that.
What do you believe is the most valuable work characteristic?
I guess I don't have any particular one, but I think it's just being honest. Being honest, like, I think that was something that also from younger volunteers is, like, it's okay, just being honest. I think that's something that I value so much, and be able to say, I need to take a break. I don't know when I'll come back, but I'll come back. So just being honest with that, and that there's no shaming, there's nothing that comes with that. So I value the honesty, and also I think something that we struggle with coming into the Centro is what was the actual situation with the books at the space. And I think if there was honesty at the beginning and trust, then it wouldn't have taken 5 years to get our situation in order, Pero hay mucha desconfianza. So I think that the biggest thing is that I want people to be able to have trust and honesty in the work that they do, and to trust themselves. I think that's the biggest thing. Trust yourself, and be able to empower one another to do the work that we do.
Okay, and one final question. What advice do you want to give to me?
Let's see. No, I think I'm just excited. I'm so excited all your future, all the accepted, and that your decision is staying firm with your decision, and also be open to trying new things. I know you have your mindset on certain things, and that's perfect, and you're going to be able to accomplish that and so much more. But I think Centro really provides a space for people to be like, let me try this. So something what I love the Centro makes people do this, is that when they come and they feel like this is their home, they start creating things. So it's not, I don't want to be able to tell you, no one to be able to tell you what to do. Like, when the moment that you feel welcome, and you know that the space also is part of you, then you feel empowered to initiate certain things, to initiate certain projects. We should do this, we should do it that way. So I just want to encourage you to have the liberty and the freedom to do that at Centro, because it's also a skill that you can take on wherever you are, and to be able to take that initiative to create things. So I hope that that's something that you take with you, and it's not something that is handed to you, or these are the instructions, this is how you should do it, and that's it. Like I want you to also challenge me, challenge the other volunteers you're going to see at the site, and also be able to do and if you see something like, why don't we try this, or why don't we do this? Can I start this new project? And I said, absolutely. So I think it's also trusting yourself to, if you see something that's missing or that needs improvement, then taking those that initiative. So that's my consejo contigo, is having the freedom and liberty to be able to do that, to thinking critically and to be able to create.
All right. Well, there's our interview, but thank you for letting me ask you for questions. But yeah, that's it.